All right, hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your patience. You're joining our webinar today. We're FAE Business Systems Group, SugarCRM partner. We're talking about ways in which you can be more successful with sugar. Presenter today is Caleb. He's our account executive here. He's based outside of Philadelphia. He's going to be taking us through some cool new features in sugar and talking about some stuff we saw at SugarCon a few weeks ago and a couple other cool tips and tricks. So we're really excited to have him here. And if you have any questions throughout today's presentation about what we're seeing, or if you've got something that you were curious about functionality in sugar, or just a general question at all, feel free to put them in the chat box. I monitor those, and I'll get them over to Caleb throughout, and we're happy to field any questions that we can in the short 25-30 minutes that we've got today together. So Caleb, I'm going to pass it over to you. Take it away.
Great, thanks Jesse. Thanks everyone for taking the time to join today. As Jesse said, my name is Caleb Daig. I'm an account executive with FAE Business Systems Group. I've been with FAE for almost 4 years, and I've been working with SugarCRM for more years than that as well. So today's webinar is how to be successful with SugarCRM. We kind of took a little different of a spin on that and wanted to talk about the agenda first. So quick, just going to give a couple background details on FAE BSG, why we think we have the right to speak with you today. We'll talk about some highlights of SugarCon, some cool things came out of that, some cool new features that are coming out within Sugar in the next few months that I'll talk about. Sugar 8.2 was just released, so I'll talk about some of the new features there. And then I just have about 3 or 4 real quick just tips and tricks on sugar, maybe some things that maybe you haven't known that sugar can do, that hopefully I can open your eyes to some new things so you can get more value out of it. Okay, as Jesse said, if anyone does have any questions, put them in the chat box and then we'll get to them as we can. But we'll definitely open up for Q&A at the end if there's anything else that comes up. Okay, so real quick slide on FAE BSG. So we have 25 plus years of experience, over 400 clients today. We're a SugarCRM Elite Partner. We're actually recognized as the #1 global partner of the year in 2018. Sugar is actually the only CRM that we work with and that we support, which I think is why we had that honor of being the global partner of the year. We have a lot of focus on sugar here at FAE. We're headquartered in Southern California, but we do have offices across the country in Austin, Atlanta, and outside of Philadelphia. While we focus on SugarCRM, we do have other sides of the business that work with ERP, such as Sage, marketing automation, such as Act-On, and we work with other project management tools and accounting tools as well. All right, here's just a quick slide that talks about all the different integrations that we have. Some of these might look familiar to you. QuickBooks is a very popular one among our client base and Sugar's client base. The Box and Dropbox integrations are pretty cool. We've released a couple add-on products to Sugar, such as the Sugar Mobile E product, which I'll talk about a little bit on today's call, and also Sugar Messaging, powered by YTEL, which actually allows you to send text messages directly out of the Sugar interface or within the mobile app. Okay. So in terms of SugarCon, so Sugar had its annual conference 2 weeks ago at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. It was run for about 3 days. Here are just some highlights that I took from it. If you weren't able to attend, I would definitely urge you to attend in future years. I hope that it's back in Vegas next year. It was a great hotel that they had it in. It was very accommodating for the event. In terms of the guest speakers that were there, Maribel Lopez, she's the founder of Lopez Research. She kind of acted as the MC and coordinated everything among the guest speakers on day one. She actually helps companies design right time experiences. So she works with companies to build technology strategies that allow them to deliver the right information or service to the right person at the right time on their choice of device. Pretty interesting stuff that she talked about. I would urge you to go check out her website to learn more about it. Larry Augustine, the CEO of SugarCRM, also gave a few words about personalizing the offering to your customers to keep them happy, and how that can actually lead to more leads and more business for you by keeping your customers happy. Juan Herrera, the VP of Sales at SugarCRM, actually had a panel of sugar power users from Ream and Tyson Foods talking about user adoption. I thought this was really interesting, specifically the Tyson Foods use case. So they actually have a team of users at Tyson that basically hype up SugarCRM and get their users excited about it. I believe they release training videos once or twice a week, commercials that they put out to their user base on new features of sugar that they're rolling out, just to get them excited about it, so they're excited to use sugar every time they come into work. So they got very creative with that, and I think that's led to the very positive feedback and adoption of sugar internally there. So I would definitely urge something like that at everyone's organization to get them excited about using the CRM to drive the adoption of it. Leonard Brody, he talked about, he's actually a best-selling author and Emmy nominee, very cool guy, very great speaker. He talked about today's rapid pace of change, innovation, and disruption, and what to do about it in his keynote speech. And then lastly, Rich Green, the CTO of SugarCRM, talked about some new products and new updates coming out with Sugar, which I'll talk about in a moment. Sugar announced its release of its 8.2 version, fall 18. The next slide, I'll talk about some of the key features of that. In terms of what Rich Green talked about, some new updates and new products. So Sugar has a SugarCRM Hint product today. For those of you on the call that are not familiar with it, I just wanted to show it to you, very briefly here. So the SugarCRM Hint product is relationship intelligence. So it's meant to give more details to your reps working within Sugar, so they don't have to spend time researching. So just wanted to show this to you real quick, what Sugar has today, and then just talk about what they're going to add to it in the next release. So here's a quick instance of Sugar. If I bring up a specific account, Apple, of course, a very well-known account, on the right-hand side, you actually have the Hint plugin, which gives you details about this account just based on the website that you put in here. So it gives all the information as far as the company size, annual revenue, their location, SIC code, their Facebook page, Twitter page. If you scroll down, it shows all of the details of this company in the news. So great information to have at the fingertips of sales reps. So when they're reaching out to someone, they know, what happened recently with Apple in this case. So pretty cool. It works at the account level, and then it also works when you're adding new contacts and leads into Sugar. So if I was to add a new contact here, I'll just add myself. Very quickly on the right-hand side, it'll actually bring up details about this person based on the email address and the first name and last name. So it brought in that I'm an account executive with Faye BSG. I went to Shippensburg University in Pennsylvania. Here's my Facebook profile. Here's details about Faye. And what is cool about this is you can actually take the enrich data buttons here, click on that, and it's going to add all of those details to the fields within Sugar. So you'll have the education, you'll have the company location, industry tags, all of that automatically added into Sugar for the future, so reps don't have to copy and paste that and add it. So pretty cool stuff, and actually the next release of this is going to be the Hint Insights, which is supposed to be out in the December timeframe, and this is actually going to include proactive and configurable customer alerts for signals and interesting moments about your accounts, such as maybe funding or personnel changes or general company announcements. So now your reps will actually have more information about their accounts that can be emailed to them, and they'll be up to date on anything that's happening with any of the accounts that they set these alerts up for. Okay, so that's the SugarCRM Hint Insights. Project Dossier is an intelligence app for your phone that Sugar is looking to come out with in the next, I think, couple months or up to a year. So they gave us a real quick demo of Project Dossier. It's an app that basically pulls together your day. It pulls together all of your meetings, your tasks, your calls for that specific day in chronological order. So it allows you to be more efficient. Cool thing about this is if you have an upcoming meeting, for example, if there is 5 people on that meeting that you're supposed to be meeting with, Project Dossier actually gives you details from Hint directly within the app. So right before going into a meeting, I can actually pull up and find out where the attendees of this meeting went to college, or what sports teams that they like, or what sports they like. So I can really connect with them on the meeting. So that's all given to you right on the app within Project Dossier. So it's meant to cut down on the research again and make your users much more efficient. They did show some improvement to the customer support modules within Sugar. They showed it very briefly, but basically showed some different UX to be much more comprehensive when working with your cases or issues, and also with your knowledge base. Lastly, they did at the Sugar learning area, they showed some new UX designs for future releases for Sugar. So as you might know now, today within Sugar Studio, there's basically a 2-column layout. The new UX design was showing multi-column layouts so you can fit more data on one screen. They were also showing a compact view with tabular subpanels as well. So just different ways that each user could set up a different user experience for their own instance of Sugar to get more out of it. So I think that's pretty exciting. Lastly, so as you might imagine, FaBSG, we had a booth at the show. It was great. I mean, we had a lot of our clients stopping by that we hadn't met before, Sugar employees, other Sugar partners, other Sugar users. The big excitement around our booth was our new Sugar messaging app that we had just released. So Sugar messaging is actually powered by a company called Ytel, which actually allows us to send text messages directly out of SugarCRM. So in the way that the world is evolving, emails aren't getting answered as much anymore. So having the ability to send text messages out of Sugar just gives you another avenue to reach out to your contacts or leads or prospects on. So just to show you what that looks like really quick, here's an instance that hooks up to the Sugar messaging tool. So you can have a dashboard in your home screen that shows all inbound or outbound text messages that are sent out. If you click on a contact or a lead record next to the mobile number here, there's actually going to be a little text icon. You can click on that, and here you can freely type in your text and just send it right from Sugar. Or there's also message templates that you can pick from, and it'll automatically insert that into the text, and you can send it out. Okay. All of these texts that you do send out are archived in the messages subpanel underneath that contact or lead. Okay. A lot of cool use cases for this. You could also work off of a list view of contacts, select a list view, send a message to a group of them, and just pick from a template. You can run workflows with this as well. So at the show, actually, if someone stopped by our booth, we had them fill out a form, and in doing so, that enrolled them into a workflow where they actually got a text from us. I think it was every couple hours, just giving them some more information about FaBSG and this messaging app. Okay. I think we actually have a webinar on this next week. If you're interested in attending and learning more about this, we'd be happy to get you those credentials to register. Okay. Get back into my PowerPoint here. So also at our booth, we talked a lot about our Sugar Mobile E product. Mobile E is an enhanced mobile app. We basically took the Sugar mobile app, replicated it within our own app, and added some features like geo mapping, check-ins. There's a calendar as well within there. You can send those text messages from this mobile app as well. So just another tool that we've come out with to hopefully drive more adoption within Sugar. Okay, so those were the SugarCon highlights. Next slide here is about the new highlights of Sugar 8.2, which I think was announced during SugarCon. You're probably getting emails if you're a cloud customer of Sugar that you'll be upgraded on this within the next probably week or two. But the three big highlights in this are the quotes module user interface configuration, data visualization in reports, and advanced workflow recipient lists. So I'll show each one of these to you. First is the quotes module user interface configuration. Now, if you're familiar with the quotes module within Sugar, now today within a quote, you can customize these fields within a quote, like quote stage or payment terms, billing and shipping information, but you couldn't customize anything down here inside of the product catalog or the total discount, part number, shipping. It actually took a customization to rearrange these or to move them around. So Sugar made this a lot easier by creating this configurator within the admin screen, where it actually allows you to add your own custom fields there, move them around in the order that you'd like. And here's what that looks like. So first you have the summary bar header preview, and with this you can move these around into an order you want to see them in. On the right-hand side are the fields that are available. So the fields legend, if I wanted to turn off the shipping field, you can just click that box, it'll take it off the list. You can add these in. So very customizable now, the worksheet columns. So if you don't want to see the part number, you can get rid of that over here on the right and add in a new field. And you can move these around too. The footer you can also customize, get rid of shipping if you don't use shipping. So much easier to customize your quotes within Sugar with this new 8.2 release. The next release to Sugar 8.2 is some new report options. So if you're working and building reports today within Sugar and you wanted to, for example, show a list of all of your sales reps and the opportunities that are assigned to them and see on visually what sales stages that they're currently at and for what dollar value, this is what the report would look like today within Sugar. So this is a stacked summation report. So it still looks pretty cool. I mean, you can see, each of these specific stages and the dollar amount that's at each. So this is still an option, the stacked option, but now there is a new option where you can move it to a grouped option. So if I scroll down, here's that other option. So it'll actually group together each individual sales rep, and it'll show you that, we have about $1,000 there for max at the prospecting stage, qualification. So it's just a different view in looking at this, grouping them together instead of stacking them all on one chart. Okay. So these options are just when you build reports. The last option of building a report would be to select these new options here. So the chart type would be vertical grouped or horizontal grouped. Okay. And then lastly, the last add-on last feature for the 8.2 release would be additional recipients for your workflows. So the workflows are included in the Enterprise Edition and Ultimate Editions of Sugar. Previously, when you were sending out emails within the workflow, you could only send an email to a related field to that target module that you were working off of. But now you can send an email to a related module to any related fields to that specific module that you're working off of. So there are additional options here. So if I were to look to send this email, the to field, if you select user, you'll have a slew of additional modules to pull from here on who you want this email to go to. Okay. So it's giving you a much wider and more selective set of recipients when you're working through these workflows. Okay. So those are some of the new features of 8.2. They also have tons of issue fixes that they've made within 8.2. If anyone's interested in seeing the release notes to 8.2, let us know and we can definitely send those over to you. Okay. Lastly, I know we have about 10 minutes left. I just had a couple of tips and tricks that I wanted to go through. Some of the things here are pretty basic, might be some things that you already know. Wanted to show you what's possible with the approval workflow within the advanced workflows, and also customer journeys. So this is something that I don't typically see being used by many clients, but I think it is very powerful. So just wanted to show you an example of that. So first is the ability to edit within a preview pane. So this is pretty simple, but I don't know that many people know that this is doable. So if I'm working within a list view here within Sugar, of course you can edit within a specific line. But another way to edit just within this specific list view would be to preview that specific opportunity, and then you can hit the edit button here to edit directly within the intelligence pane on the right. So just a different way to edit. You have a larger text box here to type your notes in, or maybe next steps on this specific opportunity. Okay. Again, about preference, just making this easier to use for your reps. And the way that you turn on the ability to edit here is just within your admin settings and your system settings here, and it is just a checkbox. So enable edit in preview pane. Okay. The next thing on the tips and tricks list was just the ability to turn a case into a knowledge-based article. So if you're using Sugar for support, handling issues and tickets with your clients, you can actually take cases and you can turn them into knowledge-based articles very quickly. I'm sure you're like us, a lot of clients report the same issues typically over and over again. So if you can very quickly turn that into a knowledge-based article, the next person that has that issue should very easily be able to find it. So if I just bring up one of these, like we'll just say warning message when using the wrong browser, here's the case, which of course you can have your own fields in here for the statuses and priorities of this case. Maybe once we resolve this, we might want to turn this into a knowledge-based article. And really simple, just hit the actions drop down here, create an article, and type in your body. So here's maybe some details, maybe a copy and paste resolution here that the next person might be able to use. You can have attachments here as well. Put these into different categories. You can use tags. So if you wanted to use tags to track what the issue is with a wrong browser, it'll be very simple and easy to find. But then you can have statuses on these knowledge-based articles. You can make sure that they get approved before they're published out to your user base. Okay. So again, pretty simple, but the way that I find people that use cases, maybe that's not something that they had known Sugar can do. Okay. Next was the ability to run approvals through advanced workflow within Sugar. So I showed you very briefly the advanced workflow that Sugar has. Here is an example of one, and I'm going to walk through this on the demo here. So there's logic behind each one of these steps. So this logic is basically saying that if a quote is set to ready for approval, we're going to send an email to Jim where he has to accept or reject that specific quote. There's also going to be a dashlet on Jim's home screen where he can see those specific quotes that are up for approval. And then you have a gateway here which says if it's approved, change the status to negotiation. If it's rejected, create a task for that sales rep to make an action. Okay. So first off, the approval and reject dashlet. So once Jim was logged into his Sugar, he would actually see, maybe have his own approvals dashboard. And this would actually show you a list of the processes that he has to approve. There are none current here right now, but I suspect Jim has some overdue processes here. So he has 2 of them. This one's an hour overdue. So he should open up this quote. And within this quote, he can see all of the specific fields that the sales rep put in, the products. If there's a discount here, he would have to approve that as well. You can see up here that it is overdue. And now if Jim approves this, he can hit the approve button here, and I set up a rule actually so that he has to put in a reason here for if it's rejected or approved. So this is where you might just fill in yes, it's approved, confirm it, and basically that's going to it could send an email over to that sales rep, or in this case, it actually just changed the quote stage to negotiation. All right. The other option would be if he rejects it. Now I'll just show that to you really quick. Here's another process that's overdue to be looked at. So click on that, and if we reject this process, I have to, of course, put in a reason here for no discount and reject it. And then what this did is it is going to actually create a task for that sales rep to follow up. So if I open back up this quote, you should be a task down here that got created. Okay, so I think this is just one example of how you could use approvals within Sugar. You could use it for those knowledge base articles. And what is cool about this is you can actually see all of the processes that are currently running, and if they're complete or if they're still running at the moment. And then you can actually see if you view any of these, the way that this specific process went and the process that it actually followed. Right. So I know we have about 2 minutes left, and last thing was just customer journeys. So customer journeys is an add-on to Sugar. The specific use case that I have right here is working with a real estate company where you're working with specific houses that you're looking to sell to. Of course, when you're in that process, there are specific things and tasks that you have to do to move on to the next step. Okay, so if I open up one of these specific listings, you'll see all of my fields here, but then you'll also see a customer journeys. Now, if I have a listings deadline here, and if I start that customer journey, this is going to visually show me the steps that I have to walk through as I complete this listing. So I have to contact the realtor about the listing, obtain listing documentation. So, and you can also time these as well. So after I complete send contract or realtor, 1 week later, I have to set a meeting to review the contract. Okay, and it's going to show me the progress here as I'm working towards completion of this specific listing. So I think this is very powerful. It shows you visually the specific steps that you have to follow as you're completing a listing. This can show you maybe where your specific listings are getting held up at so that you can make the adjustments and improve on that. There are home dashboards as well within Sugar that will actually show you your listings in process, in progress, and kind of how you're working towards completing them. So these are all the listings. Here we are in the process. Here's the current activity. Here's the stage that we're at. Okay. So just a different way to look at a process within Sugar more visually, making sure that everyone's doing the things that they're supposed to do to progress a deal, move it to the next stage. Now, these can be used, customer journeys can be used on any module within Sugar. So this is kind of used on opportunities or listings, but this could be used as a lead, or if you're looking to upsell an account, or if you want to use it on cases, it could be used there as well. So that was everything that I wanted to go through today. Last tip and trick. And I just took it up until 2:30. Are there any questions that came out of SugarCon highlights, the new release of Sugar, any tips and tricks?